Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. And today I'm going to be giving you affirmations related to fall or autumn because we changed seasons officially this week. So I thought it would be neat to kind of do some of those things. Fall is one of my favorite um, seasons. It's a great time of change for me. So that's going to be a little theme. Our peak post date is going to be frog. So if you know what that is and are being like, I can't do full frog, not today, not anytime. That's okay. Most people can do half frog, and I will give that to you as an option if you would like to take that one. But blocks you may or may not need. This is for people if you want them in dragon to put forearms on so you're not coming all the way to the floor. And if you're going to use a bolster or cushion or some stacked blanket for full frog support, your blocks can help you kind of prop that up a little bit higher if you need that. Otherwise, you don't need these. I'm not real sure, so I've got them anyway. And then I've got my bolster cushion and a couple extra folded blankets. So coming to a nice, comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Eyes can be closed or open, but cast down. Just take a moment to settle into your practice. And notice if there's anywhere that you could soften just a little bit more through the hips, the shoulders, the jaw, even the tongue. Just taking some nice, big, deep, expansive breaths. Really try to expand that rib cage on the inhale and exhaling. Good. Now, I'm going to encourage you to bring the Jayi pranayama in here. So that's that back of the throat constriction breath that we've been working on lately. So remember, if you're just doing inhale, you're making an AH sound up through the nose. Sounds like this. If you're doing exhale only, you're making an HA sound, a ha. Again, mouth is closed. You're forcing that air up and out. Sounds like this. And then there's the full where you're doing the inhale and the exhale together. Just like that. And your exhale has a little bit more of belly button coming in just a little tighter to that spine. There is a little bit of engagement there. So I'm going to encourage you to bring this breath in throughout your practice. You can always breathe normal. We'll take a few rounds here. Inhale, exhale, or both. One more. Hands to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, looking up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. I kind of gave you the intention here where autumn affirmations and all the great things that can happen with that, but you're always welcome to come up with your own. And once you have that set, good, let's relax the hands. Let's take the chin to the chest, letting gravity give you a nice stretch down the back of the neck. And we'll take that back up to center. Let's take the left ear to the left shoulder. Just getting a nice stretch down the right side. Maybe envisioning or saying to yourself, I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. Let's take that back to center, going to the other side. And when you're ready, we'll come back up. Good. And just get some nice little movements here. You can do some semicircles, full circles, circles. You can look right and left. Good. Let's take a big inhale and reach. A nice side bend to the left. Both sit bones are grounded. Try to keep your shoulders and your hips in alignment. So sometimes we kind of get lazy and we do this collapsing here. Try to really reach. And then when you're ready, using the obliques or side abdominals to come up and go over to the other side. Noticing if you've got a more open side or a more tighter side. And when you're ready, we'll come back up and reach. And let's rotate towards the left, bringing arms down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Always twisting from length, breathing and expanding. Inhale and lift. Exhale, center, and we'll rotate. Hands will come down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. And when you're ready, we'll lift up and come back to center. Good. From here, let's take this into a child's pose. So before we kind of come into that, just take a moment, come to all fours. And you don't have to be really rigid with your form here. We're just going to move. Just take a nice gentle cow pose and cat pose. You can stay with those. You can move side to side. You can kind of make some little hip circles here. Just kind of get some little movement in. And then when you're ready, we will take this into a child's pose for a couple minutes. So knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. You can take your arms long in front of you. It's okay to have cushion here. So some of you, especially if you're really tight, I'm just going to use these blankets because they're right here. You can use that as a bolster coming down to kind of hold yourself up a little bit. You can take hands back by the ankles. Good. We're going to be here for a couple minutes and try not to come to your full child pose right away. Give your body a little bit of space so it's able to sink deeper. When it's ready to sink deeper, breathe and expand. Good. So I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. Autumn is a time of transformation and reflection. A time of transformation and reflection. I like to view the changing of the seasons as a little bit of a do-over. So if you had intentions at the beginning of the year and it comes in the spring and something didn't work out, you need to make a change, revise that. The changing of the seasons is a nice way to do that. And of course, you've got nature's transformation. As plants die or go dormant, getting the soil ready and prepared for the new life of spring. Find your breath. Belly button is in here. You're ready. Hands under the shoulders. Carefully coming back up. Good. And take any little counter move. So again, you can come back into a nice little cat cow. If it's okay for your body, you can shift forward just a little bit here. Just finding what you need, what feels good for your body. And we're going to come to a seated wide legs forward fold. You can sit up on a blanket here if you want to, which is what I'm going to do here. You don't have to if you don't need that. I'll reset my timer. Good. So this is going to be for 3 minutes. Good. So I'm going to take my legs out wide. Now, if you're home, if you're on a mat or something like that, but maybe you're also on a hard surface, if you've got bony heels, you can always turn sideways on your mat so that your heels stay on your mat surface. But you don't want to come to your widest here. So remember, here's my widest. So I'm going to come in just a little bit. My body has room to open as it's ready. You can always support the back of the knees if you're really tight in the hips or the hamstrings. And then that way you don't have to think about keeping them bent. They're just automatically there. Toes are going to come towards the face. We are in a nice tall spine here, zipping up, big inhale, exhale, long spine, hinging from the hips. We're going to come forward. When you can come no more with that long spine, that's when your hands are going to come down. Good. You can always place a bolster or folded blankets or props, pillows here if you need that. Breathe into the back body. Relax the face. So I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. Autumn is a time of transformation and reflection. It also can be a time of letting go. The trees let go of their leaves. So it's okay that with grace, let go of anything not serving you. So to rephrase that as a personal affirmation, with grace, I let go of anything not serving me. And remember, if you need to come out of this pose or any pose we're doing at any time before the end of the time, feel free to do so. Listen to your body. You can always back off a little bit and then come back into it. Your body will let you know when it's safe or ready to sink deeper. And I can't emphasize enough how important big breaths are to yin. So with grace, I let go of anything not serving me. Autumn is a time of transformation and reset. I welcome the energy of autumn into my life. And from here, when you're ready, good. Carefully come up from there based on where you went. Good. I'm going to take my legs in just a little bit closer here. And then with a nice tall spine, I'm just going to take a gentle rotation in one direction, twisting from length, and a gentle rotation in the other. Good. Let's take this into shoelace. So continuing to prepare the lower body for frog. So I'm going to start with my left leg as my base leg. So I'm just going to kind of bring that in. And I want my knee to be a little bit more centered, but it doesn't have to be exactly centered. Now, if you're still really tight in the hips, I recommend sitting up on a blanket, a bolster, pillow. You can adjust that height as needed. I'm going to bring my right leg over top. Now, ideally, you'll see in pictures, it's perfect knee alignment. As you can see, I'm not there. My top knee is here. My bottom knee is here. There's a big space. I'm okay with where I am. I'm not going to force my body to do anything it's not ready to do. If this is too much, then just take a nice crisscross applesauce here. So still got my left leg kind of on the bottom and my right leg in front or on the top. Okay, so find what you need here. If you would like to bring the shoulders in here, then I'm going to recommend, let me reset this. We're doing this one for 2.5 minutes. So we will do eagle arms here for those of you that want to get the shoulders involved. So for that one, my right leg is on top. I'm going to take my right arm on top as well. So inhale, arms out, right arm is on top. You can hug yourself or wrap yourself. Nice tall spine. Belly button is in to support you. And we'll be here for 2.5 minutes. The hips sometimes want to kind of be creepy and tight up here. Whenever you notice that, just release. Now, this next affirmation may not necessarily be true for everyone, especially if you're a summer lover, but I like to say to myself, I enjoy the cooler weather and all the changing colors happening in nature. I enjoy the cooler weather and all the changing colors happening in nature. With the cooler weather comes beautiful shades of pinks, reds, yellows, golds, oranges, browns. The golden sun is still there. It's just a little bit lower in the sky. And of course, evergreens, stay green. Big breath. Relax the face. Good. And gently release. Good. As you gently release, just kind of shake out those arms. Carefully undo the legs in the way that you chose to do them. And before we switch out the legs here, I'm just going to come to a nice windshield wiper. So taking the hands behind, my back is nice and long, so I'm not hanging or collapsing here. And I'm just letting the knees and the hips go side to side. And they might feel good if you stretch one out and really stretch it, pointing and flexing. And then the other, really stretching it long and point and flex. Good. Now from here, we will take that into the other side. So now I'm going to take my right leg as my bottom leg. I'm just going to kind of pull that heel in towards that hip. So my knee's going to be a little bit more centered. And my left leg's going to cross over. Good. Now, again, I don't have that perfect alignment here like you see in pictures. That's okay. You do what you can do. And then if you're going to bring the shoulders into it, my left leg is on top. So my left arm is going to cross on top. So from here, good. Remember, you can hug yourself. You can wrap. You can lift up and down, forward and back here. Find what feels good. Crisscross applesauce is always acceptable if you need to do that. I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. Autumn is a time of transformation and reflection. With grace, I let go of anything not serving me. I enjoy the cooler weather and all the changing colors happening in nature. What about I give myself permission to pause for fresh air? I give myself permission to pause for fresh air. I can't wait for some nice, crisp, fresh air in the morning for my morning walk. It's one of my favorite things about autumn and fall. I will also freely admit I am looking forward to daylight savings time ending. Daylight savings time ending. As I'm someone that likes to rise and prepare for sleep with the sun. And it just gives you that time to rest. Breathe. And we've still got a nice tall spine here. And we will undo. Good. Gonna shake that out a little bit. And then we're gonna undo the legs. So just like before. Good. We'll get that little windshield wiper going here. So taking it back. And come side to side. So if you're wondering as to why I suddenly go to the side when I do these windshield wipers, is I've had some inappropriate comments sent to me via private message of the perverted nature. So I stopped doing that. I don't cater to perverts, so making it just a little bit more, whatever you want to call it. So, all right. So from here, let's prepare for dragon. So on this one, let's come into this one a little bit dynamically a little bit. I think that will feel a little bit better to the hip flexors once we come in here. So I actually am going to end up using my blocks here because I'm going to use my blocks as my break. You can always cushion your knees here on this one. I'm going to start by taking my left leg forward. I'm starting taking my left leg forward here. Good. I'm going to square off my hips so my front hip comes back. Good. I've got my blocks for my breaks, and some of you are really good in your balance and your body awareness, and you may not need these, but I'm just going to kind of come forward a little bit and then come back. And then I'm just going to lengthen that leg and come forward and back. As you come forward, lengthen that torso and come back. And then from here, I'm going to come into the dragon. So with some people, this might be all you do today. Maybe you've got 2 blocks on the inside at the highest. Maybe you're adjusting them as needed. Okay. Maybe you need to take this left leg out a little bit more to the left if you need a little bit more leverage, which is what I'm going to do. And then maybe you want to take that hip, knee, and toe on an external rotation. So hip, knee, and toe are turning out away from the body. Okay. You can still stay here up on the hands. You can come to blocks with your forearms, and you can also do this on a bolster or some folded blankets based on what you have. If you've got the depth, you can also come to the floor. Good. And we're just going to do this one for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. But wherever you are, whether you're up high on forearms, the floor, what have you, belly button is in tight here to support that low back. Okay. Breathe. We'll find Ujjayi if we can. So again, in recapping, I welcome all the energy of autumn into my life. Autumn is a time of transformation and reflection. With grace, I let go of anything not serving me. I enjoy the cooler weather and all the changing colors happening in nature. And I give myself permission to pause for fresh air. I give myself permission to pause for fresh air. And then when you're ready, good. So carefully, if you went down onto the forearms, you're going to come up first. If you took your left leg out wider to the left, you're going to bring that back in. Good. With or without your block. Good. Let's counter that for a moment. Coming back here into a little bit of a half split. And I've got a nice long spine. This leg is long, but this knee is unlocked. So to give you an example, here's an unlocked knee. Here's a hyperextended locked knee. We don't want that. We want that little softness there. And just get that nice counter stretch. And when you're ready, good. We'll come up out of there. Good. And if it would feel good to you to kind of go side to side, go ahead and take that. So we're going to take that all into the other side. So again, with or without your block, good. I'm going to take the right leg forward. Good. And then from here, my belly button is in, my front hip's going to come back a little bit just so that they're squared. And I'm just going to kind of come in here and come back. And I'm going to come in and come back. Kind of think about it. I'm touching the stretch and then I'm coming out. Good. And then when you're ready, good, we'll come back into that. So again, you can stay here. Both hands are blocked on the inside. You can be up high. You can be on your forearms. You can take your right leg out wider to the right. You can turn hip, knee, and toe out to the side. So you always want to go in the same direction here. Good. You can stay up. You can come onto forearms, on blocks, or to the floor. Now on this side, I'm a little bit tighter. So I am going to stay on the blocks here. But if that's not what you need, then that's okay. But my belly button is in. And I'm going to breathe through this dragon. Good. So as another affirmation, what about I make way for many new blessings? I make way for many new blessings. So in my Pilates class on the 29th, I will have a special announcement. Speaking of blessings, I am not pregnant. If that is the case, then there's a doctor in a hospital that owe me a lot of money because I no longer have a uterus. So that is not the announcement. But breathe. I make way for new blessings in this new season. Every season has its blessings. Now, I caught myself starting to go there. So if you feel your shoulders start to collapse like this, press away from that floor. Again, if you're on the floor and you're doing that, it's okay to have blocks or a bolster or something to help bring the floor up to you. Breathe. belly button stays in. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, good. If you went down on forearm, you're going to come back up. If you took your leg out wider or into the external rotation, bring that leg back in. Good. And then again, let's kind of counter that a little bit here with half split pose. You may not need your blocks again, but they are nice to have if you need or want them. So again, this right leg is going to be long. The knee is going to be unlocked. Good. My torso is long here. Whether your hands are on the floor or on your block, press away from the floor. Try not to collapse here. Be strong. Be confident. And then as you're ready, we will carefully come out of here. Good. And again, if you need to, do just a little bit of a rotation here, take care of yourself and do that. And when you're ready, good. We're going to take this now into our frog pose, into the frog pose. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way because I won't need them here. Good. And this will be a 3-minute frog, so be mindful of that. Now, before we come, let me show you. Once I come into the full frog, that's where I'm going to stay. Those of you that don't want to do that or can't do that, let me show you real quick half frog so you have a different option. So those of you coming into half frog, good. You'll come belly down. You can take your hands out like this or come into a nice recovery pillow. And then depending on whatever side that you want to start on, you're going to try to bring up that knee right in line with the hip. And then this knee and the ankle are going to be in alignment. Your toes going to turn out. Okay, so that's going to be your half frog. Halfway through, I will tell you when to switch sides. Some people need a little support under this knee or leg when you're doing half frog. Some people need a little bit of a support, like a folded blanket under the pelvis when they're doing half frog. So if that's you, feel free to take care of yourself and give your body the support that it needs. Now, those of you that are following me into full frog, I'm going to bring in my bolster cushion here. Okay. And I feel like I might need to be, I don't. I'm going to protect my knees here. So I'm just going to do a little blanket here. Good. Now I'm using 2 blankets here on top of each other. Because I am on a hard surface. Now, if you're on carpet or something like that, you may not need as much knee cushion because you've already got a little bit with the carpet. All right. So from here, I'm going to come up. I'm going to bring this bolster in for my support. Good. I'm going to start on all fours. I'm going to turn my feet out because I'm going to let my knees and my legs go out to the side here. So my belly button is in as I slide out. Good. And I've got that bolster in and under here for my support. Again, hip, knee, ankle. Good. And then I'm just going to start by turning my head towards the camera for the first part. And I'm going to breathe. Now, there's some of you out there that may not need any support under here because you can come all the way to the floor and take it all the way out. And if that's you, that is amazing. I've done that a few times myself. Amazingly, it was at the height of the great lockdown of 2020 during COVID, and I haven't been able to do it since. Maybe I was more relaxed in some ways then. Good. So autumn is a time of transformation and reflection. I enjoy the cooler weather and all the changing colors happening in nature. I make way for many new blessings. About my life flows and changes peacefully and all at the preferred time. Good. So my life flows and changes peacefully and I shouldn't say preferred time, the perfect time, the time that's right for you. And sometimes that's not our preferable time. So, so we're coming up on the halfway point here. So if you need to change legs, we'll do that now. Good. If you took your head to one side, let's take the head to the other side so that we don't get a kink in the neck if you're doing the full frog. And those of you also in full frog, notice if you tend to shift your hips more forward, could you keep the hips in line with the knees? So sometimes I have a tendency to do that. So be mindful. Big breath. Good. And from here, good. Now, based on what you chose to do, what version is going to kind of matter somewhat how you get out of here. So I went in the full frog. I'm going to lengthen one leg at a time. Good. And then take my bolster out from under me. Good. So once you're in, both legs along behind you, make sure they're about hip width apart. Make a little recovery pillow with your hands. And then you can let the hips just come back and forth. Returning the breath, returning to intention. Good. And then as you're ready, we're going to just turn over onto our back. We're going to get a nice supine twist in here before we go to our Shavasana today. We'll reset this. This is going to be 2 minutes on each side. Let's take the knees into the tabletop position. And maybe you want to just kind of wiggle around a little bit here. That's okay. So knees and tabletop. Good. Arms can be out to the side or by your side, you choose. I'm going to take my knees to the right as I look to the left and breathe and open. And one about a very simple affirmation. I openly welcome the change of new seasons. I openly welcome the change of new seasons. Again, can always come out of something early if your body doesn't want to be there any longer. Big breaths. And when you're ready, good. Let's take one leg at a time, coming back up. Good. Do a short wiggle wiggle to reset. And then we're going to take that to the other side. So knees are going to come over now to your other side that you chose. Maybe looking to the other side. Breathe and expand. Nice 2 minutes. With grace. I let go of things, anything that's no longer serving me. The change of seasons, you have the change of scenery, as we talked about in a different way. Or welcome the change of new season, new scenery, new energies. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, one leg at a time, coming back. Good. Bringing the hands behind the knees. Give yourself a nice tug. Maybe a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're going to take this into a short shavasana here. Since I have my bolster out today, I am going to use my bolster in my shavasana. I'm just going to place them or place it right under my leg. Good. And then I'm just gonna roll around, kind of getting situated, making myself about 10% more comfortable. I'm gonna leave you with this final affirmation for autumn. This is a season of warmth and gentleness, a reflection of my inner self. This is a season of warmth and gentleness, and a reflection of my inner self. Taking some deep breaths, choosing stillness, or gently taking head and neck from side to side, maybe gently wiggling fingers and toes, choosing stillness, or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe lifting up into a full body hug, and choosing stillness, or gently reaching the legs long in front of you, arms long behind you. Remove any props if you used any first. Find that full body stretch, pointing and flexing through the feet, bending and stretching through the hands, curling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And when you're ready, bending in both knees, rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment, taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, good. Getting ready to lose my earpiece here. When you're ready, press yourself up to a comfortable seat, right where we started. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. Hopefully a little bit more open, a little bit more at ease. Big inhale and reach. Taking palms up, look up there. And as we bring the hands down, we'll stop right in front of the forehead for good and true thoughts. To the lips for good and kind words. And to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May this season be a reflection of your truth, your warmth, your gentleness, and your inner true self. Namaste.